He wasn't ready, David. He mentally was not ready for that.
Well, I knew we were going to have a competition. So it's now interesting, because if the Turk comes out and succeeds, it'll mean that Markov will actually have to go to 172.5 if he wants the gold medal. But he's got a very big decision to make here, because if he goes to 172.5, he's going to be 5 kilo. He could be 5 kilos behind and body weight. And remember, his strength isn't in the clean and jerk.
Yeah, but the other point you've got to say is if he comes out, Markov, and he goes for 172.5 kilos and fails it, and this man...
No, that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. He's not known for his strength in the clean and jerk, plus he's heavier. So he's got a real decision to make there. Does he sacrifice the gold? So if this man succeeds with this lift, it's going to put massive pressure on Markov, and he's got to make the decision. Does he come out for the silver medal, or does he try and take the gold, but at the same time risk losing the overall? Okay, well, he's looked good so far, but this is asking a lot. I mean, to do this would be something else. Yeah, I thought it was asking a lot. Already done a personal best on 165, so he's got that to take forward, but to the clean and jerk.
But remember, this next lift is vital for Markov, because clearly he knows, whatever he knows about this man, the most important thing this evening is that he's actually in very good form. So Markov needs this 5 kilo cushion.
Well, if Markov succeeds with this, he takes the gold on the snatch. He has a 5 kilo lead to carry over into the clean and jerk.
It's the advantage that he wants, I think, more than the medal. The likes of Georgy Markov, or Georgy Markov, if I say it correctly, as the Bulgarians would do, more interested, to be honest, David, in winning the overall championship. Now, he wasn't mentally tuned in last time. Clock running down. Only started to move it in the last 5 seconds. He's got 35 seconds now.
I think he's capable.
And there, you've got bottom right there. You've got Arabashioglu looking, watching. He knows that at the moment he's got the gold medal because he's the lighter man, and he'll keep it if Markov fails. Markov fails. Arabashioglu has got the gold medal. Little kiss from the coach.
So first blood to the young Turk, and I think it's a dangerous situation now, because I think the Turk's stronger on the clean and jerk, and he's going into this second phase with the body weight advantage.
Well, so I backed Markov on the basis that I thought that he would take the snatch phase and have a sufficient cushion to, you know, just hold him off. Now I've got to revise that thought along your lines, that it's going to be very, very difficult for him from here on in.
Well, we've got a real competition now.
The main thing for the Turks is that they've not got to run away with this. They've got to keep controlled and focused and not get too ambitious.
Yes, they've just got to follow what Markov does. And use that bodyweight advantage.
And Turkey, the most successful nation in terms of overall medals at the moment at this 2003 European Championships. 10 golds, 5 silvers, 3 bronzes. That's for both their men and their women, totaling 18 medals. And they've just got another one. That's actually the 19th medal and the 11th gold. Georgy Markov giving Bulgaria its 21st medal and their 14th silver, and Andrzej Kozłowski of Poland getting the, or Kozłowski I should say, of Poland getting the bronze. That's Poland's second bronze medal, which brings them up equal to Great Britain and Cyprus as we stand at the halfway stage. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back very shortly. Highlights of the women's super heavyweights, plus the second half of the men's 77 kilo championship.
Saturday on British Eurosport.
True. What was the answer about Mitru? Welcome back. 77 kilo class just about to get underway. David, you've got a little bit of news about Victor Mitru, the Greek who took the silver medal in the men's 77 kilo class. Not in today's competition, sadly.
No, that's right. Just had a quick chat with the physio, and apparently he's got a slight niggle with the wrist, and they've just decided to pull him out and concentrate on training for the Worlds and the Olympics.
So Sabonis and Mitru, two men who we would normally enjoy, not able, but we'll just have to wait for next time around. Mind you, Kakashvilis tomorrow night. If you can join us for that, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It'll be a rare atmosphere here in the hall. It'll be deafening, that's for sure.
Yes, I think what we've seen is we've either seen some of the Greeks not quite at their best or not competing at all. And they're obviously completely focused on the Olympic Games, and why wouldn't they be? I mean, it's being held in Greece. This is their chance to shine.
Well, the expectations are so high because the sport is so important. It's high profile. It's it's leapfrogged an awful lot of sports. I mean, basketball is immensely popular sport, but in a sense, weightlifting, when the championships are on, it takes far more prominence. www.weightlifting.de for your messages to us, the website, and just a reminder of the general website for those of you who'd like to get the online results and some of the quotes and things like that from the championships. If you go to www.weightlifting.gr, and you'll see a little link on there to Loutraki. Just click on that and you'll get into the official website for some more detailed information. If you want to talk to David or myself or get a message to us, then www.weightlifting.de is where you'll connect.
So just in the warm-up room now with 70 kilos on the bar. Bar weighs 20, remember, and the reds are 25 each. So the leader after the snatch, the young Turk, who hasn't been in this weight class for very long.
His tail will be up, won't it? Because he'll have come out of this as well as he could have hoped for. He's
better, I would have said.
Well, he's on terms and he's got a gold medal.
Plus he's got lighter body weight, so yes, a good situation to be in, especially a year before the Olympic Games. So clock ticking away. 24 seconds before the start of the clean and jerk competition.
Well, if you're just joining us this evening in Loutraki, warm welcome from myself, David Goldstrom, and David Morgan. We're at the halfway stage in the men's 77 kilo class, and it's Turkey's Reyhan Arabatçıoğlu who leads with 165 kilos by virtue of lighter body weight over Georgi Markov of Bulgaria, with Andrei Kozlovsky of Poland in third place, 160 kilos. He's 5 kilos off the pace. Markov, the defending European champion, also world champion, 25 years of age. Arabatçıoğlu, who only moved up to this category this year, a couple of years younger, and looking good to maybe take the title today. But we've got a lot of lifting to go before we get to the two principals. And the first man out on the stage is Anatoly Dashkovic for Latvia, down in 9th place at the halfway stage, 137.5 kilos, only one successful snatch attempt, so not a great start. So he's going to have to try and improve from here, David. 25 years of age, this Latvian lifter. He's had plenty of international experience, been lifting in the world and European championships since 97, 98. So total secured. Now looking probably for, well, much better than that. He's got a PB, David, of 327.5 kilos, and he's not going to reach that tonight. He'd entered a total of 320. But obviously those failures in the snatch have really set his ambitions back.
Yes, if he'd have got all 3 snatches, he would have probably been left on 145, and then a 175 on the jerk would have given him his 320, but it didn't happen.
Here's a man born in Poland but representing France. He actually never represented Poland in the weightlifting squad. So 24-year-old Janusz Shaban. And there's no doubt that the French have really been working, David. We've seen an improved performance from the women's squad. We've seen Ndika Sampson finishing 4th for them in, is it the 62 kilo class?
Yes. No, sorry, 69 kilos.
62.
Is it 62?
62.
That's right. Sometimes he lifts at 69. On this occasion, he brought his weight down and lifted 292.5 for 4th place, didn't he?
Yeah, and only finished 27.5 kilos behind Mutlu. But you know, if I want to put it in a better perspective for him, he was only 17.5 kilos behind Stefan Georgiev in silver medal position. It's a decent improvement. French have got a similar decision to the British squad, David, haven't they, in terms of, you know, how you earn places for the Olympic Games. Do they run out to the World Championships where, you know, they could, you know, they're meeting the best in the world, so they're not likely to get the higher placings, and the higher the place, the more points you get for your nation? Or do they sort of, in a sense, keep the powder dry and go for the European Championships? It was interesting talking to some of the British boys, you know, earlier in the day, saying, well, we really need to calculate what we need to do, you know, what not just what positions we need to achieve, but what weights we need to lift to get those points. Cherpak, Ukraine, first attempt, 175.
Solid power jerk there.
Good lift.
And he's well up, David, on his previous best, 327.5. Is that right? 327.5, and that's 20 kilos up.
125 kilos, and Dashkevich Anatoly from Latvia for his 2nd attempt. Alexander, get ready.
75 Kilogramm an der Hand für den 2. Versuch von Dashkevich.
Just a little message in, David, from I think it's Simon Brinkat from Malta.
Right.
Enjoying the championships, and the lads out in Malta are looking forward to meeting your brother Tony and watching him lift in the Malta Open.
Yes.
10th of May. Thanks for the email. Glad you're enjoying it.
So that's good.
Thank you, good lift. Στην μπάρα 177 κιλά. At the barbell 177.5 kilos.
Question, David. Bryn Evans from up in Lancashire, asking about powerlifting. Should powerlifting be in the Olympics? And given that it's, he says, arguably more popular than weightlifting in Great Britain.
Well, I think the point is that it's not more popular in the world, though, and you know, the Olympics is the world stage, and it may be more popular in Great Britain than weightlifting. I don't know, but it's certainly not more popular in the world. So I guess that's a decision for the Olympic committee to make. I think one of the problems with powerlifting, and this is not, you know, it's not putting powerlifting down, but I think one of the things that's happened in powerlifting is you've got the introduction of these super suits and super wraps and these special sort of bench suits that enable you to lift a lot more weight, and I think it's I think it's unnecessary. You know, I think the sport could actually do without that, and would probably be a lot more popular in something like the Olympic Games if it didn't have that. You know, because you've got these guys walking on the platform to do a squat, and they can't actually bend their legs because they've got so much knee wraps around them, and you know, they're coming out to do a bench press, and the shirts that they're wearing are so tight that they need, you know, 300 pounds so they can just bend their arms, and it's all kind of taking away a bit. But that's a point. I mean, they have powerlifting in the disabled Olympics. They have the bench press, and they had the powerlifting in the Commonwealth Games, but it was the disabled.
I have to say,
he's got a point.
I was producing that up in Manchester, and I really enjoyed that disabled finale that we had at the games. I thought, you know, I wasn't certain how it was going to go, but it was really, really good. But on the political side, which I can perhaps talk about a little bit more, David, I mean, to get a new sport in the Olympic Games, I mean, it's like climbing Mount Everest 3 times at the moment.
Well, I think weightlifting has kind of been in there since it started, and of course originally weightlifting was a lot different. There were 5 lifts originally, and it went down to 3, and now we've got 2. And I think you're right, to get another sport in would be quite difficult, especially another strength sport.
Degariou, who's really impressed us, only just missed out, David, if you remember, in the snatch phase. That last snatch of 157.5 could have given him a medal. It didn't in the end, but
yeah, I mean, going back to this Olympic Games thing, I mean, there were people trying to get rid of weightlifting and actually put ballroom dancing in. So I mean, everybody's got their own kind of opinions, but I mean, Olympic Games is I guess about strongest, fastest, most endurance. So you know, you can't argue that the weightlifters are certainly the strongest athletes in the Olympic Games, and probably some of the fastest as well.
Alexanyan for Armenia, first clean and jerk attempt, 180 kilos, in 5th place at the halfway stage. So this will give him 335. Put him into 2nd place overall. If he does it, which he does, he's just a little bit heavier than Degariou. But those 2 men very, very closely matched. Actually, I'm not sure that is the right total. 332.5, sorry. It puts him into 2nd place anyway on the weight itself.
So we're just a shade under 400 pounds now. Bar at 180 kilos, 396 pounds. And of course, these men weighing in at around the 12 stone mark, or under 170 pounds. So this man using the more unusual power jerk technique. Most of the athletes take one leg forward and one leg back, using the split technique. If you watch this athlete, he prefers to do what we call a power jerk and take both legs to the side. And there it is, very solid, very strong, very comfortable. Works for him. And that's 180 kilos. And of course he still has 1 lift remaining.
Another thing about this man Sherpak, actually, David, is that he was a junior. Well, he's junior, but he was lifting in the 69 kilo class last September. So he's another
athlete who's moved up.
Yeah, moving up. I mean, he was at 142.5 in the snatch, 165 as junior European contender, 307.5. So real improvement here.
So, last staying on 180. This the final attempt for the Latvian.
Yeah, this would give him, just having a look at this, yes, it would give him 317.5 as a total, which would leave him 10 kilos off his best, but all that's really, that damages down to the failures in the snatch phase, providing, of course, he lifts this.
Cleaned well now. Yes, so that's 3 good clean and jerks.
Providing he stands still and providing his feet are in line, and they just about were.
Well, it's nice to see that, because he had a bad time in the snatch phase. Only managed to succeed on 137.5, but then got himself together and came back with 3 good clean and jerks and finishes on 317.5. So the bar now going over 400 pounds, 402 pounds, 182.5 kilos.
Yeah, and this actually, in terms of the clean and jerk, equalled his personal best. So, as you say, disappointing start, but a much better finish. There you can see yet another packed house, despite the fact that we've got no Greek athletes in the competition tonight. But the crowd interested, sporting, and I think tomorrow night, David, you could sell the tickets 50 times over here.
Well, what do you think I'm going to be doing all day? Got a whole load printed up.
You wish. Janos Shaban now, also looking for a much better finish than his start. 182.5. This is for 322.5 total. Not to be.
No, there was that little bit of doubt before he pulled away off the floor. And when you're diving under weights like 400 pounds, you can't afford any doubt. You have to be committed 100%.
By virtue of his lighter body weight, 76.40, he stays ahead of Dashkovic of Latvia. So still the 200s there for Arabacioglu and Markov, the 2 main contenders. Lukacs on 190, Kozlovsky due to come in at 190 as well. This is Dugariu currently in the lead, so now trying to extend that advantage to a total of 340 kilos, which would give him a 7 kilo advantage at this stage over Alexanyan of Armenia. But still Markov, Kozlovsky, Arabacioglu and Lukacs of Slovakia still to start.
Very good. So 340. A 185 to go with the 155 that he did in the snatch, and increases his lead. But of course, we've still got several people to come into this competition. 4 in fact. Two starting at 190, 2 starting at 200.
Well, his entered total, Dagario, was 350, so that's what he was aspiring to. But you know, 340. I mean, if he gets an extra 2.5, it'll be good. If he can get an extra 5, it would be brilliant. I think he might go for the extra 5, to be honest. And I think that will be pretty good. I mean, you know, it will give him 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Alexanyan now, who's currently in 2nd place, so this would only take him up to 337.5. It would just keep him in that 2nd spot at the moment. But all of this, of course, is a little bit like the hors d'oeuvre before the main course. But nonetheless important. All of these men will be looking to qualify for the Olympics in their respective nations.
Nice lift. So he's having a pretty good day. 5 lifts out of 5.
Just coming back to the Olympics, it's tricky when you're in this sort of area, because if you finish in the top 10 in the World Championships, you're going to get a qualifying place anyway. But if you're outside that, then you're relying on the points total. So it's slightly difficult. I just wonder, as a lifter, David, if it's easier to to work basically on, if I lift this amount of weight, I know I will go to the Olympics, rather than I'll do my best and then hope my country gets enough points and will eventually decide to send me.
Yes, I mean, I don't know if the sort of qualifying total idea is good, or if the top, getting in the top 10 is the idea. I mean, I suppose you could argue that if you're in the top 10, you should be there.
Well, the Olympics being the pinnacle, you would want to see the best in the world there. Generally, they are. But inevitably, David, some of the stronger nations could field 2 or 3 athletes who would all be qualified. That's disappointing. That's his second error, and he's in 3rd place at the moment, but he's not going to stay there for very long, Alexander Cierpak. But disappointing for him. But let me now put that into context, because he's got 332.5 kilos, David. His previous best was 307.5 kilos, and he was looking for 330 tonight. So even though he didn't lift that, he's actually achieved his objective. And this, of course, was the man who has moved up since September.
So,
well, Dagario,
bit of confusion there, but eventually it's I think it's going to be Dagario at the moment, but I've got a feeling they might go up from 187.5 to 190.
Well, this was the question. As I said, he was...
Well, the Armenian, it's gone to 100. Yes, Dagario, the Romanian, has opted for 190. We can see that clearly on the board. So that means that it goes back to the Armenian, who, we can also see on the board, 3rd from the bottom, has opted for 187.5.
And Markov has gone down to 195.
Interesting.
Very interesting. He was on 200.
Well, we said we were surprised, because 200 is his competition best, and to put that in as an opener, and we know that he's clearly not on his best form, because we've seen him snatch 170 in the past, and he wasn't able to do that today. So,
but also for Arabatoglu, he's opening on his competition best as far as clean and jerk is concerned, but he obviously feels solid about it. And running onto the stage now, Alexanyan with 20 seconds. A little bit of confusion. They haven't been paying attention. They missed it. The change of weights.
He's fully aware, though. He's got 10 seconds to get this weight past the knees. So
barely time to lock on. 5 seconds.
Lock on, come on. Flat back and go. 2, 1,
pull,
go. Just about did it. Yes.
Good boy.
That's worth a round of applause.
Particularly if he can finish it.
Yes, and he does. Yeah. So, very good.
Yeah. Lifter 1, coach 0.
1 second to go there.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen. And more often than not, David, the lifter loses out. So, big credit to him for this.
So now moving to 190 kilos.
Yeah, it's moved him up to 340. Same weight as Dogariu, but again, just that fraction heavier. 76.41, Dogariu 76.39. Now Kozlowski's first attempt. Kozlowski, bronze medal already to collect a little later on in the evening for the third snatch attempt of 160 kilos. He's 5 kilos off the pace behind Markov and Arabacioglu, but of the top three, he is the heaviest. No problem there. But he's certainly up for this.
Yeah, he seems to grow in confidence with every attempt.
Good lift.
So he now goes right to the top, 350, leads the competition.
Yes, and that must guarantee him. I would have thought that guarantees him third place, but of course...
well, the other person who hasn't started, apart from Arabacioglu and Markov, of course, is the Slovakian, Rudolf Lukács. Now, he's coming from a long way back in one sense. I mean, 152.5 kilos at the halfway stage. So if he's going to get himself into a little fight here with Kozlowski, let's say, he's got to catch up by 7.5 kilos. The only thing you can say is that he's lighter than his Polish rival. But is he good enough? Well, he surely must be good enough for this to open on 190. But he's made that look a lot heavier than the pole did.
He's cramped.
Yeah.
He was complaining actually of cramp on the snatches. Yes, of course, a lot of these athletes have to reduce quite a few kilos to get into the weight class, and of course, cramping is one of the problems that can come with that.
Well, wife Katerina and daughter Victoria will be happy to see Dad going off the stage, but I just wonder whether he can actually do this weight. Looks to me as if Kozlowski is going to feel a hell of a lot happier having watched this in the back room. And now Lukács, of course, is he following himself? Because there is, of course, Dogariu, who posted 190.
Yeah, but
he's got that's his third attempt.
Whereas, yes,
so he's got everything.
Lukács has got to take it again.
Yeah, he's got everything against him.
So Markov warming up here. Just check what he's got on there. 160 kilos. Very comfortable.
Well, it's going to be a really good finale here again, I think. Arabacioglu. They're both, you know, they're both so closely matched, aren't they? I mean, Markov and Arabacioglu. I know exactly what you mean when you said, yeah, he's the younger man, he's the more recent to move up to the weight. The improvement should come, but you just never know. Markov is going to have to try and fight back. So now Lukács, 20 seconds. But he's got to get a better clean in.
He's got to hope that his calves don't cramp up this time, because if they do, now that's better. but, well, it's cramped up again. The unfortunate thing is that he's only got one lift to get that in, but this time he gets more of a rest because, of course, the Romanian will be called upon to do his third attempt. So at least he's got a rest.
One little mention for the loaders, David. They're very good here. Been, very, very efficient, and when someone's got into trouble, they've been smartly onto the stage to make sure they're okay. Which is again another sort of pat on the back for the organisation here. They really do know what the job's all about.
So this for 3:45.
Question for you in a minute, David, from Zvonimir, to explain the difference between the classic snatch and the clean and jerk and power snatch and the clean and jerk. We'll demystify that for you in a minute. Tagario remains on 340, currently in second place overall, but he's likely to miss out. So, David, can you help with that?
It's an easy one to answer. The classic snatch is what we're looking at today. It's when the athlete snatches going into a full squat position, and that's what the classic clean and jerk is. And the power snatch and the power clean and jerk are movements that are used purely for the development of speed and power by many athletes, and it's exactly the same movement, but the athlete will take the weight to arm's length with only bending the legs slightly, just enough to cushion the catch overhead. Most athletes, most sprinters, throwers will use the power snatch and the power clean over the squat snatch and the squat clean.
Well, Rudolf Lukács is going for broke, David, because the bar has gone up to 192.5 kilos. Remember, he hasn't got either of his clean and jerk attempts, so he's decided to throw everything in, having had that extra couple of minutes.
Right, that's enough stamping.
One effort required.
Not today. So disappointment.
Well, he did actually believe that he could do that, David. No doubt that
he went for it.
It means, sadly, that he doesn't get a total.
But the crowd appreciating the effort
and understanding what he was trying to do.
But the barbell, or should I say the weight on the barbell, moves on.
So the situation with Arabatoglu and Markov about to start their head-to-head duel is that Kozlovsky, who currently leads the field with 350, is now guaranteed an overall medal. Whatever happens, he can't be worse than bronze, and if Arabatoglu and Markov burn each other out...
Well, I think what Markov's doing is, I think he's trying to he's getting one in, kind of guaranteeing he's playing it by the book, really. He's getting one in, guaranteeing
silver,
a medal.
Probably.
Not guaranteeing silver, I don't think, but most likely. The pole arguably could do 202, but it's unlikely. I think he's calculated that this is the weight that he needs for the overall silver. And if I was coaching him, this would be the weight that I would give him, and I would almost guarantee this is a guaranteed silver medal. Then, of course, he's just going to sit back and wait and see what he needs, because there's nothing to lose. Once he's got the silver, it's like, okay, I'll sit back now, see what the Turk can do, and I'll try and respond.
Well, he's got a 5 kilo advantage over the pole, plus lighter body weight. That looked good.
Has to be said, yeah. That was a strong clean.
And that was a strong drive.
Yes.
And
and it leaves you thinking, well, he could have come in on 200. Good start.
But still, probably the right decision.
Yes, because he's guaranteed the medal. Medal's guaranteed, and now he can just sit back and he doesn't have to worry about taking 3 lifts. He can just say, well, I'll wait now, I'll take 1 more, and I'll take it when I know what it is.
Yeah, he's also going to get a nice time rest here, because Kozlovsky's going to come out, and then Arabashlioglu is going to come out, and then he will come out, and then Arabashlioglu will have to come out.
Well, this is interesting. Markov has already jumped to 202.5, but I guess he knows that he has to do that, because if the Turk succeeds with 200, then 202.5 is what the Bulgar needs to take the lead. So it's exactly what he's done. He's guaranteed his medal, and now he's taking the next weight that he needs to go for gold. Good tactics. But did he need to announce it as quickly as that? Well, the point is, there's 2 things that are going to happen. Either the Turk is going to miss 200 3 times and he's won anyway, or the Turk's going to succeed, in which case the Bulgar has to do 202.5. There's no mystery about it.
Kozlovsky, though, has got stuck. He's on 350 behind Markov.
He's guaranteed I mean, really, the 195 is not going to do anything for him. It's going to put his total up by 5 kilos, but it's not actually going to change his placing or his medal situation.
I mean, he looks booked
because he's heavier than Markov.
He looks booked for a hat-trick of bronze medals.
Yeah, so Markov's tactics, perfect.
So Kozlovsky now, he's the man who's got to come out. So we've got a couple of minutes to wait. A little less than that now. It's a minute and a half till we see him again. Tomorrow, men's 85 kilos, Zlatan Vanev of Bulgaria. He'll be in there. And then in the evening, 94 kilos, Kakashvilis for Greece. Everybody has got him down as their banker bet. And then Sunday, 105 kilos. Looks like a great competition there. Return of Simon Kolechki, the Olympic silver medalist behind Kakashvilis, in action, having been sidelined for the best part of 2 years now. In fact, a full 2 years with back problems. And then the super heavyweights. Hopefully another Bulgarian, Dangerous Damian, if you remember him from the Worlds, fearsome looking chap. Hopefully he'll be with us on Sunday afternoon to round it all off.
So, last attempt at 195, and then the bar, of course, will go to 200 kilos to bring out the young Turk. Cleans well. Now, not today, but doesn't really make a difference to his position. Bronze is all the way.
350 the total, well below his very best of 362.5, but
so now, David, the fight for gold begins.
Yeah, yet another championship which has come down to the last lifts. And this is Arabashlioglu. He's got 3 lifts. Markov has got 2. Markov's thrown down the first of his cards. Arabatoglu, the lighter man. Remember, these 2 men, Arabatoglu and Markov, equal on 165 kilos at the halfway stage.
Yes, so this to put him into the lead.
5 kilo advantage and lighter body weight.
Cleans well. Now needs to steady. Good jerk. Yeah, very strong.
Competition best, equals with that effort, and he's got the 5 kilo advantage. He's got the lighter body weight, which means that Georgi Markov, who's already posted 202.5 as his second attempt, will have to do that.
2.5 kilos.
Yes, Markov knows he needs 202.5 to regain the lead. But of course, the Turk's got to decide whether he just goes up 2.5 or takes a 5 kilo jump.
You get the feeling that Markov will go for this, then let the Turk go, maybe let him go again, and then try and...
I think what's going to happen is, if it was me, I'd be looking at this lift very carefully, and I would be looking to see how much more Markov had in him, and if I didn't think he had any more, then I would take the same weight.
David, question.
Well, let's answer it. Let's watch this. Let's answer it after this.
Okay.
Let's decide whether we think Markov can do any more than 202.5. Because if he can't, then the Turks should go 202.5 to push Markov to 205, which hopefully he wouldn't be able to do. So let's look at this lift and see if we can assess how much more he's got left in him.
I think he can do this. So I think that's
the strongest we've seen him, actually.
Oh no.
Well, now he's got to make a decision. If I was the Turk now, I would come out on this weight.
Take 200.
Because that would push Markov to 205 and he'd still have another lift left.
Yes.
You see, that would be my tactics, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Alan from Norfolk, quick question. He's asking why, we don't have any lifters able to compete at this sort of weight, and we have them at Commonwealth Games level, but not at this level. And Alan, you also asked me if I've ever lifted. The answer to that is the shopping, the sofa.
Well, I mean, I've had this conversation about why we don't produce the lifters, and it's because of our lifestyle. People don't realise, if you want to lift this kind of weight, this boy on the stage now, he gets up in the morning at 7:30, he goes to the gym at 9, he trains for 3 hours, he goes home and sleeps, and he goes back and trains for another 3 hours.
So arguably, this could be the gold medal lift.
Well, this is going to put the pressure back on. Well,
very heavy.
As if he's got another ounce in him, so he really needs to do this. Well, let's lift it wide open now. If Markov gets this, that's going to encourage Markov. He's going to think, if I get this lift, then the Turk's going to have to do it. Yeah, going back to the question. So I think in our country, it's very, very difficult to get somebody to, well, you've got to find somebody, first of all, who can afford not to work, then who has the talent, and then who has the inclination to go into the gym six hours a day. And this is why when somebody from Great Britain, like Michaela, for example, or Andrew Davis in previous years, Dean Willey, myself, you have to be the kind of person that loves it and is prepared to put that kind of commitment in, and perhaps sort of put your life on hold for a while. And people just simply don't want to do it. Kids are not interested in training as hard now. They're more interested in playing computer games. This guy on the stage now, weightlifting will change his life. He will be respected. It will give him financial security. It'll give him a house. It'll enable him to travel. So there's a different kind of motivation. And I think to go into the gym and do this sport, which is a hard sport, for 6 hours a day, is you need the motivation. So
Georgi Markov, Olympic silver medalist at 69 kilos, moved up to 77. He's the world and European champion. Can he pull this off? and maybe hold on to his European title.
Well, if he succeeds, the ball is back in the Turk's court. He has to do it to win.
Now, cleans much better.
Very good. He's definitely capable. He looks the stronger of the two on this. Well,
that's it.
There we go.
That's three white lights.
Back on.
Yeah, that's a great recovery there by Markov. Now all he can do is wait and see. His destiny lies in the hands of the younger man, the man who's more recently moved up. Alan, just to finish off the question, you asked me about lifting. No, it's not been a sport of mine. Dave's been trying to drag me in the gym for, what is it, about 5 years? I do train, and he can verify that. Perhaps not as hard as David. Certainly not as hard as David. But I love the sport, and I've thoroughly enjoyed being involved in it, and it's terrific. So, no, I don't think so. Not the sort of poundages that you lift, Dave.
So, we now know what needs to happen. If this man wants to become world champion, he's got one chance. And this is it.
European champion.
Sorry, European champion. And this is it. This is his one chance. The last lift was hard. So he's really got to pull something out here. Bulgarian played his cards well.
40 seconds, 35 seconds now.